Dear audience, this brings us to the end of the sessions for this conclave. We will move into the closing ceremony right now. We hope you have found the discussions over the last 2 days to be inspiring and to be stimulating. Please join us now for the closing session after an incredible 2 days. May I first request Ms. Arifa Khani Rahman, Associate Professor and Head of the Department of English and Humanities at ULAB, to deliver her remarks.
Thank you so much, Sarah. Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. So respected Vice Chancellor, Professor Imran Rahman, Pro Vice Chancellor, Professor Shamshad Murtaza, keynote speakers, plenary and panel speakers, guests, presenters, participants, colleagues, and students from all over the world, a very good afternoon to you. I would like to begin by paying my respects to the martyrs of the language movement of 1952 and of the Liberation War of 1971. On behalf of the Department of English and Humanities, let me now thank you all for being with us over the last 2 days of this incredible Ulab Multicultural Conclave 2022. Without your enthusiastic response and participation, this conclave could not have happened. The world as we knew it has changed, and we are adapting to those changes. And part of that change has been more to move into this virtual world where we cannot chat over a cup of tea or lunch, which as Bangladeshis is such a great part of our culture. But there's always a flip side. The virtual conclave has given us the freedom to reach out to speakers globally, and you all accepted our invitation unhesitatingly. So I would like to offer my gratitude to all our international speakers, as well as to all our speakers, moderators, and session chairs from Bangladesh for your participation. My gratitude also to our Vice Chancellor, Professor Imran Rahman, and Pro Vice Chancellor, Professor Shamshad Murtaza, for guiding and supporting us through all the arrangements. The Department of English and Humanities at ULAB has developed a reputation for being one of the most happening departments in Bangladesh. This is because we believe in knowledge sharing. We organize workshops, talks, and conferences on a regular basis, and the impact of these is seen not only in the enthusiasm of the responses, but the growing richness and depth of the presentations. I'm most encouraged, however, by the participation of both our undergraduate and graduate students as paper presenters on these international platforms. It makes me proud to think that we've been able to instill that kind of confidence in them, because it does take a lot of courage to put yourself out there. We've also developed an expert body of student volunteers led very ably by Shahriar Hussain, our teaching assistant, and they've become trained in all kinds of real world skills. And I do have to offer these students my heartfelt gratitude, because without them, we really could not have had such a smooth flow of events. I also absolutely must thank Mohammad Zakir Rizwan, senior lecturer of the department, who never sleeps and is a real wizard. I only had to think of something and he had it done. My deep gratitude to Dr. Khan Tausif Osman, Associate Professor of the department and convener of this conclave, for his meticulous planning and implementation of the program. I will end by inviting you to keep up with our events through our department Facebook page, and hope you will join us at all future events. Thank you everyone for being with us. Stay well.
Thank you, ma'am. I would now like to request Professor Shamshad Murtaza, Pro Vice Chancellor, University of Liberal Arts, Bangladesh, and Dean of the School of Arts and Humanities, to address the audience.
Thank you, Sarah. And thank you, Arifa. I can just say, ditto. I have nothing more to add with just what Arifa was saying, but what a great 2 days we had. So it has really been a conclave in real sense of the term. And I'm so glad that Dr. Parvi, mentioned Bakhtinian, chronotope. And this morning we had freshest reception. Some of you were there, the physical, classes have started, and we had the freshest on campus. And our vice president of the board of trustees, so he was talking about dreams and memories. The two components of being a student. So you come to our university with certain dreams, the perspective, and of course you have the nostalgia, the retrospective aspect to it. And here we are, bringing an end to the dialogic imagination. And when I gave my opening remarks, so Tausif insisted that I explain the terminologies involved in our title. So yes, again, dialogic. So we have that Bakhtinian end. So we had the beginning and we have the end, and both alluding to Bakhtin. But then again, we had to talk about imagination, so going back to Benedict Anderson. But the idea of, treading time and space and to have a meeting point, where we not only talk about representation, we also talk about misrepresentation. And especially on a day like this, so where we are looking back at the language question, so celebrating the glorious sacrifices of our language martyrs, we also need to learn not to disrespect others, while we celebrate ourselves. So we should be mindful about the other languages. And that's what International Mother Language Day has taught us. So we have an added responsibility with UNESCO recognizing, so 21st February as International Mother Language Day. So the transformation of Ekushe February, so, February 21st, to International Mother Language Day. So the national has become international, the personal has become political. So throughout these 2 days, so we talked about it from different perspectives. We had an opportunity to celebrate the 100 years of Nozul's Bidrahi. So we also had papers on Swed Walillah, who is also having a centenary this year. And I'm so glad that, my colleagues, so they have really worked hard, to bring scholars from all over the world. So as Arifa was saying that, yes, ULAB's English department is a happening place. And this is only possible because of the energy that my colleagues bring in. And one of the greatest additions we had is, of course, Khan Tausif. He's working, sitting in Italy, but he's like a chain reactor. So he's full of nuclear fusions. So we needed to channel that energy, otherwise, if you remember that story, that ghost, that was told to climb up a bamboo tree, with oil, otherwise the ghost would have broken your head. So we had to channel Tausif's energy. So Tausif is full of ideas, full of energies. And I'm so glad that we could, redistribute that energy to have this conclave done. And he was ably guided by Rahin. You can look at his profile picture and understand what has happened to him. So he's completely, disfigured by this conclave. He has turned into Cyclops from what I can gather, but Rahin is the liveware of the conclave. And of course, all the volunteers, all the people so this was amazing. So thank you, dear participants. So thank you for believing in us, and thank you for being part of this great event. And I'm sure with your collective contributions, we'll be able to dream of doing future programs. Now we are more ambitious, and I'm sure Arifa can't wait to have another conference next term. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Professor Mortuza. May I now invite Professor Imran Rahman, Vice Chancellor, University of Liberal Arts, Bangladesh, to address the audience.
Thank you, Sarah. So I would just like to echo Arifa and Professor Shamshad in terms of thanking all those who made this conclave happen. And by all accounts, even though I didn't stay here, but just from what I heard in the closing minutes of the last session, that it was and looking at the number of participants, even at this hour, it's amazing. Obviously, it was a useful one, and I'm sure I'll get to hear more of the outcomes coming out of this conclave from both Professor Shamshad and, of course, also Arifa Rahman. I'm a happy man today because today, as Professor Shamshad mentioned, our campus reopened for the first time in 2 years. Reopened in a sense that physically we had about 500 students, 500 to 600 students who are the sort of freshers, the incoming newly admitted students. And it was a very beautiful day, very happy day. So hopefully, fingers crossed, that we can get back to, physical classes, and hopefully the next conclave or conference or whatever will be primarily physical, but there will hopefully also be an online or blended aspect with. This is something that we must hold on, because one thing I've learned, and that, in spite of all the criticisms of online learning, there are so much positives as well. So, and it's going to change the way we learn, we teach, and we just interact with others. And as Arifa mentioned, that particularly our kind of the fantastic opportunity to bring in talented researchers and faculty from all over the world through the online platform. So thank you all, particularly the students who work very tirelessly under the able leadership of Arifa, Shamshad, and Khan Tausif, and all the other members of the team. And as Arifa said, that I sometimes lose track of the number of which conference we are having now, because there's so many. They sort of soon see their way into the Guinness Book of Record, I think, the way that they're going. But no, I mean, the results are shown. I think we have a very strong English department, and it's getting better and better, and it's providing inspiration to everybody at ULAB. So thank you very much, and my best wishes to all of you.
Thank you, Professor Rahman, for your constant encouragement, guidance, and support of the Department of English and Humanities. Finally, to conclude the 2022 Multicultural Conclave organized by the Department of English and Humanities at ULAB, I would like to request Associate Professor and Research Fellow at our department and convener of this conclave, Dr. Khan Tausif Osman, to make the concluding remarks and to offer his vote of thanks.
Thank you, Sarah. All right. So it is really heartening to see that the ULAB Multicultural Conclave that has taken place on 25 and 26 February has come to a successful conclusion. As it is obvious from our title, A Dialogic Imagination of Bangladesh, Literary, Linguistic, Cultural Representations, Non-Representations, and Misrepresentations, we aimed at engaging critically with the questions of nationhood, with particular attention to linguistic nationalism in the context of Bangladesh and beyond. The nation of Bangladesh is being reread, rethought, and rewritten, especially around the 50th anniversary of its independence in 2021. And to observe the 70th anniversary of 21st February 1952, which is regarded as the proper beginning of Bengali nationalist movements in East Pakistan, the Department of English and Humanities intended to generate new thoughts tracing the shifting contours of the imagined community that is Bangladesh. There are so many people to thank for successfully pulling the conclave off. First and foremost, I would like to express my profound gratitude to the three keynote speakers, Professor Ganesh N. Devi, Professor Syed Manjur Islam, and Professor Shaugato Bhadoui. Their critical engagements with the questions raised in the concept note have been really intellectually stimulating. My thanks to all the plenary speakers, panel discussants, session chairs who responded to our invitations unhesitatingly. Your participation with us has been wonderfully enriching. To Professor Imran Rahman, always an incredible support, my thanks for accepting our invitation to join the inaugural and closing ceremonies. My special thanks to Professor Shamshad Murtuja, Pro Vice Chancellor and Dean, School of Arts and Humanities, ULAB, for proposing the idea of this conclave, providing a guiding vision for it, and seeing it through all along. My gratitude to Ms. Arifa Ghani Rahman, Head, Department of English and Humanities, ULAB, for holding it all together, for ensuring smooth coordination among all teams working on the conclave project. I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude to Muhammad Zaki Rizwan, lecturer English and Humanities, ULAB, for his unflinching support. Every technical detail and internal coordination have been meticulously overseen by him, including the detailed web page he built. Zaki is truly a wizard. My thanks to my colleague Sarah Anzumbari, who's here, and Mehek Chaudhuri, who are lecturers in the Department of English and Humanities, for helping us with the announcements. Gratitude is due to our fantastic team of student volunteers led by our teaching assistants, Ummehani Anika and Shahriar Hussein Shetu, as well as Anika Tahsin, who is a lecturer in the Department of English and Humanities. Tanzina Rahman Shunali, Tasnim Ahmed, Tarin Ahmed Diba, Fauzia Jahan, Muhammad Habibur Rahman, Afrina Rahman, you have been extremely hardworking and thorough. My sincere thanks to Muhammad Abul Hashim Rani, Deputy Manager PR, and Maksudul Islam, Senior Graphic Designer. Ms. Lia Nipa Bishwash, Admin Officer, Department of English and Humanities, also deserves thanks for her support. And of course, my gratitude to the incredible IT team members, Arif Bilal Mamun, Yusuf Ali, Azizul Hakim, Mir Shamshir Ali, Noor Alam, Abul Khair, Imran Hussein, for their unending support. And finally, thank you all the participants who have joined from all over the world. You are really the ones who have made the ULAB Multicultural Conclave 2022 a success. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, Professor Rahman, and to our dear audience and participants and colleagues and presenters. Thank you so much for being with us. We look forward to having you at our next event organized by this department and this university. And I hope you all have a fantastic evening.